Hi, this is Sam, and this is my game design document that I created for a Battle Royale game called Battle Toyale, which is a working title. I created this a couple of years ago, and I will just go through the content of this document. So we explain the concepts of the game, the goals for development, the tools that we're going to use, target audience, platforms, in-depth look at all the different gameplay features, the structure and scope of the game to make sure it's possible within the time constraints, any feedback that we've got from players, Q&A, the controls, AI, physics, level designs, menu and UI, art style, all the details that you need to know about the game, assets, the market space in terms of competitors and how we can market the game, production timeline, so the milestones, deadlines we need to meet, possible future content like DLC sort of stuff, and then finally some legal issues and concept artwork. So it's quite comprehensive. This is not for an official game, but it was part of a uni module to show that I understand the development and the process of creating a game within a game studio. So we outline what Battle Toyale is, which is a battle royale game with a twist where it's from an isometric point of view, and the idea is that players can kind of find special toys to control, and they become the toy. So each toy is its own character with its own abilities, kind of like I suppose you could say like a hero shooter or a MOBA or something where you've got different heroes. So we've got a brief outline here: multiplayer, last man standing, battle royale action strategy game. And we've got powerful toy-like relics which transforms the players into powerful beings. And then we go into more detail, talk about the genre, the camera, the name, although it wasn't a finalised name. And then we've got unique selling points. Obviously it's quite hard to be original, but you can pick out the main focuses for the game. So, for example, transforming into the toys. An isometric experience. A lot of battle royales are kind of first person, or maybe third person in Fortnite's kind of instance. But there's room to grow, and I think isometric is an interesting choice for that. There'll be different levels of strategy as well. So we've got like traps and buildables, not in the same sense as Fortnite, but more in like a RTS type of way. We've got different game modes as well, so it's not just last man standing. Someone kind of trying to escape mode where you try to escape the island. And then there's the story behind it, development goals. So kind of Moscow-ish with like musts and shoulds and stuff like that. Development tools, just kind of the engine that's being used, what's being used for the artwork and the modelling. I mean, this could have been probably fleshed out a bit more with other. I'm sure there's other software like production and what they use in Q&A and stuff. QA, I keep saying Q&A. Target audience and kind of games that they would like, or the kind of things that they play, like Diablo 3, or Torchlight with that kind of isometric kind of action oriented sort of style. Obviously battle royale games. And then we've got the target platforms, and kind of how we're going to release it potentially. So we talk about Steam's early access, for example. It might be a way to kind of deliver it so we can get some kind of early finance, early investment from the players, as well as their feedback. Got system requirements for PC, obviously. I mean, it's quite old now, but yeah, I had to kind of look at what current games, kind of what they ran, and you know, what we kind of want it to look like. And then yeah, we go into depth for the gameplay. So we talk about all the different statistics. So the player has health and they have armor, you know, speed, stamina. You know, it's a bit more of a tactical sort of battle royale rather than just you know, standard one. And weapons all have stats as well. Different conditions that affect the player. And then we got all the objectives, you know, how to win and lose, different transformations and how the toys work, what abilities they have, and then we go through each toy, at least in the initial kind of phase of creating the game, and just explaining what each one does in detail, what they should do. And then we go into weapons as well, like here, the different weapons that the player can pick up. And there's also traps as well that they can lay for other players, and items for buffs and healing. We talk about the scope of the game. So the different game modes, like I said, there's classic battle royale like Last Man Standing, and escape mode, where I think they have to escape on a helicopter, if I remember rightly. Yeah, spawn, and everyone that's alive is alerted to their location, so it kind of makes everyone go to the same place, so it's kind of a big showdown. Yeah, team variants, and then we've got other additions. So obviously we've got player customization, but we've also got in-game store, because you know, if it's a battle royale game, there's a fair chance, you know, it might make sense to make it free to play. So we need to obviously get money in some ways. So microtransactions for like cosmetics and things would be a good way to go. You can get, you know, skins for the different toys, for example. The players themselves. And then we got the game flow, because we want to keep the player interested. You know, we don't want them to get bored after a few games, so we've got to make sure we've got a robust like leveling system and ranks and competitive mode, things that will kind of keep the player addicted, you know, have a goal to work towards, keep the game compelling, you know, offering rewards and things like that. Again, I could probably go into the, you know, more detail with each level and what, you know, what could be unlocked and things. This is very kind of like the first draft of a, you know, of a full game design document. It would obviously be expanded upon as the production kind of went on. We talk about challenges. Oh yeah, kind of offering them challenges as well that they can complete during the game, and in-game currency. And then yeah, we've got player feedback here. So it's all about feedback loops, really. So kind of like how they communicate with each other. Like if we got people playing together and they want to be in the same party sort of thing, or if it's just a team mode and they need to communicate, I don't know, via kind of like voice command sort of thing, like or ping system rather than maybe voice communication, which they might not want to do as strangers. And we have different cues, like visual and audio cues, to make it obvious, you know, what's going on around them. Profile, story, and then yeah, the controls. So we have obviously you've got keyboard and mouse, but we've also got I think we've got gamepad controls as well. So if we ever ported it to like a console, then you know we already have kind of controls thought out. The AI, there's not a lot in terms of like standard AI because it's a multiplayer game. Although you could do, I suppose, an offline mode or training mode, but there'd be AI implemented in other ways, such as like the escape helicopter having like a A-star pathfinding sort of thing going on. And then we've got other things like physics, what items and things in the level will react to physics. And then we expand on the different levels, or the map itself, and the different sections of the map. Just to give a kind of brief overview. Again, this is stuff that will be fleshed out more once there's been some more detailed concept art of the levels, and then we can start blocking out the levels in Engine, and then kind of it's an ongoing sort of development. Then we've got the menus and UI, and the style, art style. So the artists and the modelers kind of know kind of what look to go for, and a list of assets that we need to be made, like different models. So kind of got all the different toy relics, the different weapons and items, traps. And then obviously concept art for the map mainly, as well as the characters and toys in the game. Audio effects, some different sound effects. Again, this list can be added to over time. We examine different competitors so we can see what, make sure that our game stands out from the crowd, and implements popular features that we know people would want that are present in these games, but also trying to think of something that these games don't offer that we can. So we talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the main kind of battle royale games, at least when this was created. Some of these might not exist anymore, but we go through a few here. And then we go into a bit more kind of detail outside of the game part, in terms of the marketing and how we're going to get it to the players and try and maximize player count. So we can start off with see trailer, concept art, get people kind of understanding the idea of it, and kind of get building that kind of hype to something new and interesting is going to be revealed. And we can do weekly blog entries. We can do that as a designer. We can talk about the game and the decisions we're making, and kind of see what the reaction is from the public, to then be able to make tweaks to the game if need be. And then maybe a couple months after the reveal, we can drop a first gameplay trailer and screenshots to show what they're going to be playing, and do development diaries. And then once we're closing into release, we can release a second, more in-depth trailer. And because it's a multiplayer game, it might make sense to have an alpha and a beta at some point, potentially. I think it's very important to have that player feedback. The more stuff we can get kind of implemented and fixed before the full launch, hopefully the less problems we'll have to fix once launch happens. And then we can start with the advertisement, posters, launch fair, have various events and social media. So plenty of ways to kind of market the game. And then we've got the production timeline. So if we go to early access, then ideally we want to only be in there for no more than a year. We want to stay current and relevant. We don't want people to think the game's kind of dead. So I think it's a year is kind of a good amount of time for early access. But we want the full development to take maybe 2 years before release. So we probably want to work on the game for about a year before releasing into early access. And then we've got various milestones. So create the initial prototype. We've got the CG trailers that's actually not ready to show gameplay. And then once we get to kind of early access sort of date, we can start getting feedback and implementing fixes and kind of features that players want to see. Yeah, and we kind of do launch plans kind of a few months out from release. And then future content, these are just possible things we could add to the game. If things go well, it would be nice to add these kind of things. And then we've got some legal stuff, just talking about licenses and how much it's going to cost us to use the different bits of software like Unreal and Maya, and how much it costs to license them, or like what cut they take from the earnings. Intellectual property, data protection, just making sure we're not copying anything, and that players' data is secure. If we have to store any, the rating we're aiming for, so we can keep things on track. And then just some very crude drawings. I'm not much of an artist, but it's kind of shows the map with the central kind of lake, and the different areas. Just kind of the main menu and player profile. This one's a bit more important because it shows like the camera position, how we're looking at it, and there's kind of like a ring around the player with an arrow, so we know what direction they're kind of pointing in. It's all very crude, but and some images of the different toys that could be in. But that's the overview of the game design document. I will upload it to my blog shortly. But that's it. Thank you for watching.